What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader, also known as John, coming back to you with another video. And the mailman just dropped off a pretty little package from the United Kingdom. And it took a little while to get here, but it did finally make it here, and it's pretty awesome. It was such a unique casing and grading set that I couldn't resist it. And here we are. We got the Ewok glider along with a Logray, and they've been graded together. I don't know why they put them together, but it looks cool, so I went ahead and got it. The price wasn't too bad, and you know, it's just kind of a cool, unique piece. I don't have a lot of vehicles in my collection that are graded, and I consider this glider a vehicle, since it was an accessory type of item, and I really liked it, so I went ahead and picked it up. This is graded by UKG, United Kingdom Graders over in the UK, and it's near mint, and it's just awesome. I always love Logray too, or Logray, however you pronounce his name. Kind of the medicine man of the Ewoks, and there are a bunch of different variations for Logray, and he's my first one graded, so I'm pretty excited about it. But this Ewok glider is gigantic, as you can tell, and it's got a lot of cool detail to it. So let's take a closer look at it. Look at that thing. I mean, that is just wild. And, you know, a pretty good amount, considering how old this is, 1983, I guess it came out. Pretty good amount of detail, and you can see where they cased the bombs and kind of the accessory pieces underneath it there. And then you got Logray right here. Logray, it comes in a bunch of different variations, and it mainly relates to the stripes. So this is the Hong Kong version. I'll show you the grading in a second here, but this is the Hong Kong version. There is a dark stripe and a beige stripe. This is the beige stripe, but there's a darker stripe that's also available. There is a Lily Letty version as well as a Macau. I don't know if there's a no COO. I probably should have looked that up, but I forgot to do that. And you can see his accessories there. You got his kind of weird medicine man hat with the skull kind of painted on there. You also have his pouch, which you can see there. And then if we can get a better angle here, hopefully we can take a look at his staff. There's his staff. Very cool. On the back, you can see get a better look of how UKG encased the boulders and some of the little accessory pieces that went along with the Ewok glider. But very cool piece, and it's pretty gigantic. But, you know, I didn't really have anything like it, so I thought I'd include it in there. I'm starting to see more and more graded vehicles from UKG. I've seen recently on eBay a tripod laser cannon like you saw in the Battle of Hoth on Empire Strikes Back. I also saw a cloud car without the pilot, just kind of the vehicle itself that was for sale. So there's lots of cool stuff that UKG is doing now. I don't know if those are recent kind of decisions by UKG to grade those or not, but you know, loose vehicle grading has been done for a while by CAS, but it seems like I'm seeing more and more of those by UKG. Obviously AFA does not do that, as far as I know. They have qualifying grades if you have the box and it's, you know, pretty much 100% and unused, but I don't think the AFA does loose grading for vehicles yet. I would imagine they'll probably get on that train pretty soon, just given the loss of income to UKG and especially CAS, since CAS is in the US. But anyway, let's take a look at the, one other thing I wanted to point out is that they did separately grade and label both the glider and Logray. So I like that a lot. One of the problems that I do have with CAS is that if you have a combination item like this that you want to send in, they only give it an overall score. So, for example, recently I saw somebody submitted like a land speeder with the box, and it also included like the instructions and as well as a C-3PO and an R2, I guess just for decor, but they'll only give you an overall grade, and I assume that overall grade relates to whatever the lowest graded item is in that bunch. So the problem is, let's say that you got 4 or 5 different items that you all wanted to have encased in the same acrylic container. The CAS labels will just have one label, and it'll mention everything that's in there, but it'll only have one grade. Whereas what I liked about UKG is that they did 2 different labels and graded them each separately, which I think is the way to do it. Hopefully CAS moves over to that. I've seen a few people that submitted like Argentinian Yuppie Star Wars. They're like little, 2-inch rubberized figures that were actually licensed by Lucasfilm down in Argentina. And a gentleman had like 6 of them. And 5 of them were near mint. One of them had some scratches. Well, the CAS grade came back low because of that one figure. So I don't know. I'm hoping that they'll change that at some point and have separate grading for each one of the figures, especially if they're individually encased like this. But that's just my personal opinion about it. But let's take a look at Logray here and see if we can get it to focus. Star Wars Logray, 1983, Lucasfilm Limited, Hong Kong. Figure got an 85, paint got 85, overall 85. So here he is. One of the things I do not like about UKG is they don't do a great job of differentiating the variations. So, for example, I know that I think this is the dark beige stripe Hong Kong version of Logray, but they don't mention that on the label, whereas AFA does do that. So, when you go to resell this, you're going on photos and things like that. Before you list it, you'd have to, make sure that what you're listing it as is the correct one. And luckily for something like Logray, where the colors are very pronounced in differences, so it's a little bit easier for that. But certain other figures where it may not be as easily noticeable, it's just more helpful, I think, if the grading label shows what the variation is. And it seems like, again, I'm only going on what I see online, but it seems like UKG does not do a great job of that, and CAS to a certain extent. That's why I do like AFA in that respect, is that they they have very detailed labels in terms of if it is a variation, what's incorporated in that variation. And so let's take a look at the label for the glider, and here we are. Bear with me here while I get this. There we go. Ewok glider, 1984. So it came out in 84, not 83. Lucasfilm Limited, and this is also Hong Kong, so it's an 85%. So I assume that whoever got this graded, he got a Hong Kong COO, country of origin Logray, to go with the Hong Kong glider, and I guess that's why he did that. And I don't know, I have to go back and look at the movie and to see if he was actually the Ewok that was flying the glider in the one scene where they dropped the bombs on top of the AT-ST Walker. So I don't know the answer to that, but. Otherwise, it doesn't make much sense to have the 2 of them together. But I don't know. To me, it's a pretty unique piece. The glider is very cool to me. It's certainly eye striking. It'll look kind of cool with the rest of my collection. But who knows if they really belong together. But going back to Logray again, for example, for a minute here. I know for a fact there's 2 different Macau versions. There's the dark brown stripes, and then there's also a dark flat brown stripes for that. And then the Letty version, I think there's also 2 different Letty stripe versions. There's a really, really dark stripe with a darker, lighter, the lighter white color that's in here. It's a lot darker cream than what you see here. And then the other stripes are pronounced. It's a very, very dark brown compared to this one. And so that's the Macau, and then the Lily Letty, and then this is the Hong Kong. I don't know if there was a Palatoy or no COO version. I'd have to go back and look at that, but that is what I know about Logray off the top of my head. So anyway, that's all I really had. I just thought you'd like to take a look at it. It's a really kind of unique piece that I'm very excited to have, and that's about it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.